Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today in front of me, I've got the Apple iPad mini first generation. This is available in two colors, silver and space gray. The iPad mini was released back in 2012, so now it is over 10 years old device in 2022. At the time it was a great device. In the box, you get Lightning to USB cable and a 5-watt power adapter. Designed by Apple in California. We get some paperwork and Apple stickers. The back of the iPad mini is aluminum. We have the Apple logo and below we have the iPad logo. The iPad mini comes with a 5-megapixel iSight camera. On the top, it has a power button, microphone and headphone jack. Along the bottom, you will find the Lightning connector and speakers. Along the right side we have volume controls and a silent mute switch. For its thickness, it is 7.2 mm thin, which is thinner than the iPhone 5S. The iPad mini is pretty lightweight and I just love its form factor. It is a very classic Apple design and it looks really good. Taking a look at the front of the device, the iPad mini has got a 7.9-inch display with a screen resolution of 1024 by 768 pixels, which is good for 163 ppi. The display still looks pretty high quality, but you can definitely notice some pixels because it is not a Retina display. If you look really close up, you can see the individual pixels, but it's still a pretty good looking display. The iPad mini doesn't have a Retina display until the iPad mini 2 was released. Along the bottom, it has a home button. On top, we have our 720p HD FaceTime camera along with an ambient light sensor right next to it. Along the side you notice that polished chamfered edges which look very nice. The iPad mini is powered by the Apple A5 dual-core processor. This has 512 megabytes of RAM, which means you won't be able to multitask whatsoever. The iPad mini pretty much mirrors the iPad 2 specs or the iPhone 4S specs. This iPad came with iOS 6 and supported up to iOS 9. When initially shipped with iOS 6, the iPad mini was fast and fluid, but not so much anymore. The iOS 9 killed the iPad 2 and iPad mini first generation. It's painful to use this now. It's slightly better to use than iPhone 4S in my experience, but it's still pretty bad. Due to the aging hardware, launching apps will take some time to get fully loaded. Most of the apps from the App Store are not compatible with iPad mini, but you can go to the purchased section in the App Store and can download older versions of apps. For gaming performance, well, you can still play some light games, but you can no longer play the latest or the high graphic games. Overall, it's not a good user experience. Apple has made a huge mistake by releasing iOS 9 on iPhone 4S and iPad mini. The iPad mini has got 5 megapixels back camera. It does not have panorama or HDR features, but you do get time-lapse mode. The photos taken from this iPad are not good, but it's a tablet so I don't mind at all. Videos can be filmed in 1080p, which is also pretty bad in quality. The front-facing camera is even worse with 1.2 megapixels and 720p video recording. Another thing I am going to talk about in this iPad is the battery. The iPads are known to have a really good battery life. This iPad mini has got 4,490 mAh battery that is supposed to be lasting you a good 8 to 10 hours of battery life depending on what you're doing. It will easily last the day without any issues unless you're using the device a lot. Originally, the iPad mini was available for $329, starting at $329 for 16 GB Wi-Fi model. And you can go up to 32 or 64 gigs. You can also add 4G LTE connectivity to this for another $130. Should you buy the iPad mini first generation now? The answer is no. Buying this iPad is not worth it now as it is very slow and no longer supported by most apps. This was actually released in 2012, now this iPad is going to be making a decade since it's been out. In the end, thank you so much for watching today's video and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.